Chaplain Steve, I'm going to be talking about an experience I had back in 2010, and it seems very relevant today, and that's why I'm bringing it up. And it has to do with, it's commonly known as a near-death experience, and that's what I had. And to kind of backtrack a little bit, I had a car accident. It was late at night, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and somehow I passed out. Before I passed out, though, I remember I was heading right for a tree. The second thing I saw was I was going about 65 miles an hour, and then I was out. I didn't feel any impact. I didn't feel anything whatsoever. It was just like totally, it was dark, and then this is where the NDE experience begins. And I didn't remember all of it after the accident. It kind of had been accruing over the years and stuff. Bits and pieces have been coming back together, but now I've got a pretty clear picture of what it's about. And it's really relevant, what I'm about to tell you. But anyway, what happens, I passed out. And normally, in any experience, people talk about being in a tunnel and there's a light at the end. I didn't find that at all. I was not experiencing that at all. I found myself almost immediately in a large facility. And, if you look at this, the ceiling, it was transparent. You saw daylight, you saw the sky. And when you're looking at the facility, a lot of people in there, a lot of souls, if you want to call it, just a lot of people. I mean, a lot of things are going on in this facility, and what I gathered is it's called a processing center. What it is basically is for everyone, one way or another, to process. Sometimes people have a very difficult time adjusting. Sometimes people are taken suddenly. Sometimes they have a heart attack, stroke, whatever it may be. They get in a car accident like myself. It's sudden. And these people didn't even they need the time to adjust. And, I think that a lot of things that I saw in there, people were very, they just weren't ready. They weren't ready, they wanted to continue to live, and a lot of things were going on. The one thing I'm going to tell you, too, about, what happened in the experience, everything and anything is possible. I mean, seriously, anything and everything is possible, and the things that you experience is beyond anything, in this life. It is far more expansive. It's just incredible what you experience in there. And so what happened in this facility, people, as I said before, were just having a hard time adjusting from being alive, and all of a sudden now they're dealing with death, and it's very difficult. The other thing I'm going to tell you too, which was really interesting, there are angels, there are people, there are people that work for God, and the angels, and I'll just simplify it down. They're angels, and what they do, they help you along. And there are rooms, and the rooms are it as I said, everything and anything's possible. So if you go into a room, it can be a totally different experience. It's just not a white wall, whatever. There was somebody, I'm going to kind of put it another way about the facility. It's kind of like being in the queue. And I thought it was a very good description. In the queue, you're being processed in a way. And as I said, some people are having a very difficult time adjusting, after death. And a lot of things go on in there. I mean, it is a facility, and there are a lot. You cannot believe what goes on in that processing center. But let me just tell you one thing. What I want to focus on is I didn't have a guide as such, but I heard voices kind of tell me things, what was going on, and there's one part of this, one part of this experience was it really got to me. It really was, it was very disturbing, and what I'm telling you is that off to my right, there was a dark shadow. And I saw people, beings kind of forced and taken into this darkness. They were fighting it, and they were being taken into this darkness. And I got closer to it, and what it turned out to be is the evil realm. It is extremely hard. It is very difficult to explain, but I've got to tell you, though, it is like nothing. Like it is the best way. There's no hope. There's no dreams. No future. It's absolute despair and hate, absolute utter hate, and in there. And I just heard another phrase that I thought was kind of really pertinent to what I'm about to tell you. The evil realm is cold as a gravestone in the dead of winter. It is cold as a gravestone of dead of winter. And that's what it is in there. It is. Death doesn't even justify it. But let me tell you something. There's some things I learned during that experience about the evil realm. And this is what I found very disturbing. But the evil realm, their whole goal, I'm just going to tell you right in front of everybody, it's real. The evil realm is real, and things that go on in there are real. It's sure I'm sitting here telling you this story, but I'm going to tell you about the evil realm. What is the goal of the evil realm? The goal is revenge to God. Their hate for God is absolutely, utterly profound, how they hate God. And their whole focus, everything that is in the evil realm, is about our destruction. We are the children of God. They are out to destroy us one way or another. It doesn't make any difference how they get there. They want to destroy us. That is the number one, and they are focused like a laser beam on our destruction. Let me take this further about our destruction. The other thing I learned is that, 95% of all of you out there have nothing to fear. You're gonna be just fine. The 5%, the 3%, whatever it is, they have something to fear because they have chosen the path of evil. What constitutes evil? An absolute disregard for anybody else. They're the only one. It's all about them, and nobody else is important. And they're for a goal. It could be power, it could be money, it could be fame, and power is the real big one. And I got to tell you, when a person chooses the path of evil, the one thing you have is free will. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, about free will, how important that really is. But if you go down the path, and through our whole lives, we choose the path that we're going to be taking. We make choices all throughout life. And one choice that we make is one of the most important choices. In fact, the most important choice really is about if you go down the path of evil. And we absolute disregard for anybody else. And the thing that is most important in the next life, and how you're judged in a way, is how you affect others. There's a common law. It's real simple, everybody. That whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. In other words, the best way to describe it: what goes around does come back around to you. And those who choose the path of evil, and once you get their attention, and here's the thing that is really, they follow you. They actually follow you, and what they do during the time you got their attention, they study those people that have chosen the path of evil. They study them. And every second of your life, every moment, they study you. What they're trying to do is learn how you think. And what they're trying to do is they want to become you. And I'm going to go a little bit further than that, but what they do is they study you. I mean, for just every second of your life, they study you, and they follow you wherever you go. You can't see them, but they can see you. If you go down this path of evil, that's what's going to happen. And what they're doing and what their goal is, as I said before, is to become you. And what they do, I kid you not, it was an eye-opener of all eye-openers, is that they instead of having one mind, you now have two minds. The thing they cannot do, they cannot force you to do anything. They cannot do it, but they can influence you. And they have tools of doing that. And the whole idea, when they study you, they learn how you think, they actually become you. And if you don't have the kind of discernment, the real discernment, you can't tell the difference between them and you. And that's how they influence your thoughts. They literally go in and out of your body. I mean, it's just stunning what I experienced about that. But they can go in and out of your body. They can do it, and they can get into your mind. They stay in your mind, and they can influence how you think. If you don't have discernment, you don't know the difference. So why am I bringing this up? Getting back to the goal of the evil realm, our destruction, our absolute, utter destruction. And here's the thing that is, and why it just seems to relevant today, back in 2010, and here I'm talking about it now. We're doing their bidding. We are actually doing their bidding. There are people, what's going on today, it is, people are, they're feeding hate, they're feeding despair, they're feeding fears, they're feeding all that stuff. deceit, all that stuff that goes on, lying, all that stuff goes on, and we're feeding it, and I'm telling you what is really almost the insanity of all this. We're doing their bidding. We're making it happen for them, for our destruction. They have one tool, and the tool is, and everybody knows about it, but the one tool that makes everything different right now, what's unfolding, nuclear weapons. They know it. They know the power of nuclear weapons. They have a means now for absolute, utter destruction is through nuclear weapons. And that's what makes everything different now. This is what makes it all different, what goes on here. And now they have the real possibility. The spiritual world, it runs parallel. What's happening now, we're intersecting. And because we have a lot, it's taken hold in the earth, and I guess the best way, in the earthly realm, it's taken hold. And there are people, we're actually, as astounding as this, we're doing their bidding. We're doing their bidding. I mean, and I'm going to tell you, nuclear weapons. Now, why did I bring that up? I saw an outcome, and the outcome was civil war. And it's funny, all these people out there are feeding it. They're feeding about civil war, they're feeding distrust, they're feeding fears, they're feeding all kinds of stuff out there. And this civil war, if it breaks into civil war, everybody, is totally and absolutely different than any civil war. Nuclear weapons. People are going into this, and they don't seem to fully understand is that it will get out of control. That's what I saw. Things get out of control. Hate has its own momentum. Deceit has its own momentum. Fear has its own momentum. And when you take and there's so many other elements, all this adds up, and it will, based on what I saw is it gets out of hand. And here's what I saw. We self-destruct. We self-destruct. People are, when I say when there's a civil war, people get access to nuclear weapons, and that's when it begins. It just begins, everybody, and we're doing their bidding. We're actually doing their bidding, and that's the thing that's the insanity of all this. And this really happened back in 2010, and I'm seeing it going on now. I mean, we're doing their bidding. All these people are professing hate. All these people, they know what the truth is. They know what the truth is, and I got to tell you, these people that have chosen the path of evil, that what they're doing, it's going to come back to them. And let me tell you a little bit about when I say coming back to them. Everybody, I don't care, whatever it is, you have a review of your life. And the whole review is based on how you affect others. That's the most important thing, is how you affect others. And the review is, what happens is that you actually become, the way that you affect other people, you actually become them experiencing what you did to them, how you affected them. And those who go down the path of evil, you experience if people die on account of you, you experience their death. You experience their fear, your fear, all of that. You experience the actual death of what these people felt. The actual fear, I mean, all that stuff, you feel it one at a time. And you experience, the families, you experience all of them, and you actually become each person in there, and you just keep going through this review. In the evil realm, the difference between a normal review and the evil realm, it repeats itself. And each time it compounds itself in the suffering that you go through, the person that chose the path, they suffer more. Each time it gets worse and worse and worse. You keep going through it all. You go through each person, their death, you go through all their fear, go through it all, and you experience it. But in the evil realm, it keeps on going. And I don't know much further than that, to be honest with you. I don't know, but all I can tell you is God, the evil realm is like nothing. It is so terrible. I cannot express enough. And I was talking about, why we're going to self-destruct is because it has momentum. Hate has momentum, and it compounds itself, and things will just get out of control. The people that are doing all this think they have control of it. They don't. Because the other thing is the evil realm is behind all this. There are forces at play here, and that's the thing that's stunning about all this. There are forces at play. They want us, I'm telling you, we're doing their bidding, and they want us to absolutely destroy ourselves. Let me talk one more thing, and the other thing that's really important is free will. They cannot take that away from you. They cannot take that away. It is always about choice. We choose. They choose the path. However we live our lives, we choose the path. We make decisions all through our lives. And the choice of choosing whether the path of goodness or the path of evil or darkness. Right now, and like I said, what's really is we're doing their bidding. So many people are doing their bidding, and I mean, there's a real possibility that we can, honest to God, we can self-destruct. This whole world, I mean, this country could actually self-destruct, and everybody in it. Nuclear weapons. This time, it's very different, everybody. And what I saw, and what it'll get out of hand. It takes control. It has a mind of its own. Hate has a mind of its own, and it will just take over. That's what people don't fully understand. The momentum and the force of the evil realm, it's like pushing it. They really want their revenge. They're doing their bidding, and it's going to get out of hand, everybody. And the free will is we have a choice. And I'm going to try to give you another experience that I had when I was dealing with the evil realm. I experienced a tidal wave, horrendous tidal wave of darkness. And then what happened is, because it almost seemed like I was in the ocean and experiencing this tidal, I was gasping for air, but it took me a few seconds to realize, no, I was not underwater. It was darkness. This huge wave of dark encompassing everything. But I will tell you one thing that was interesting about all this. At the very end of all that experience, there was like kind of like a golden light, almost like a sunrise. And what it represents, the choice that we have. And this is the moment, this is the time, this is the exact moment this is it, everybody. This is the moment right now, right here, that we're going to decide the fate. In other words, are we going to choose the fate of darkness, or are we going to choose the faith of life? It's up to all of us. We're going to all make the decision, and a lot of people are feeding it. They're feeding darkness. They're feeding it, and I'm telling you, it's going to get out of control. It will get out of control. And that's what people have to realize. It will get out of control. It has a momentum all of its own. We will, if we go down this path, we will self-destruct. Nuclear weapons. And the evil realm knows this. They want their revenge. And they just may get it. We may just do it. So right now, this is the moment I'm talking about. This is the moment that we're going to make. We're going to decide the fate of this country, the fate of the world, basically. And pretty well, they cannot take that away from you. We make choices. That is what the whole lesson on this right now. What this is really all about is a choice that we're going to make: darkness or life. That's a choice that we have. It gets that. It's really, literally black and white. Just happened back in 2010, everybody. And I did, it was very upsetting to me, but I didn't have any, there was nothing to relate it to, and now all these things are unfolding, and to be truthful with you, I was kind of in denial of what was unfolding here, and that's why I'm kind of doing it, because, or what I'm telling you, because this, I mean, it's coming true, it's happening right now. People are professing all this stuff, hate, deceit, all kinds of stuff going on out there. And they know what the truth is. The influencers, I call the influencers. We have a choice, everybody. And I'm going to end it here. We do have a choice. We have a choice, everybody. Darkness or light. Or life. And I'm going to tell you something about life. What if we choose the path of life? That golden light, that sunrise that I saw, that's where we're headed, if we so choose to. We can have a life like no other. We can have a country and a world that is never, it is stunning what we can do all together. And there are those, and the path right now, they're feeding division. God, all the things they say. And they think, it'll get out of control. It will get out of control. It has a mind of its own. Hate has a mind of its own. You give it, it'll take it. Anyway, we're going to end it, but it's up to us, all of us. It's coming up. We're going to decide, and we're going to decide. It's up to all of us. Not only all of us Americans, all around the world. We're going to decide. Anyway, I'm going to end it. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, but I wanted to get this out there because, as I said, it seems really relevant what's going on today in this world. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll tell you guys, it's a warning. It's a warning. I'm just telling you, things could get out of hand, and we could actually literally self-destruct. Or we could choose the path of life. We could choose the path of light.